sense in which there's directs the regional organizations. East Africa is the one that I think is closest to integration. Because as I said at the very outset, we had the East African community, which, as you know, died in 1970, as was revived again in 1999. And the original members, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, have subsequently, after the 1999 treaty, Rwanda are now members, Burundi are members, South Sudan is a member, and recently we admitted the Democratic Republic of Congo. The whole idea was to create a federation, and in the year 2004, the then heads of state did appoint a committee for fast tracking. And a report was given talking about how we are going to have a common currency, a common tariff, and common services. And indeed, some of the things are already happening. It is only in the area of common currency, which we thought we'd have in 2024, I don't think we will. And then, of course, the idea of having a political federation, as I've already said, there is a committee going round. And the idea of the federation is that we make sure that there is free movement of persons, and certain countries are ahead. Rwanda, for example, I think is ahead of the region in terms of offering opportunities for employment and permits. There are certain countries like Burundi which are still lagging behind. But the whole idea is that ultimately we'll have a confederation. And that confederation will be a confederation where we will have a president. In fact, under the fast-tracking document, all ministers in charge of East African integration ought to have moved and ought to have been operating from Arusha in Dar es Salaam by the year 2010. So that is moving apace. In SADC region, where we thought South Africa would be the anchor, I don't think that is beyond the trade issue. The political question is one that has not come out as strongly as it should. And that is for a number of reasons. First of all, South Africa reeling from apartheid, and then Mozambique and Angola there with the Portuguese tradition. But you can see that trade is one of the major drivers. In ECOWAS, we also know that Nigeria is the anchor in that regard. They were moving towards a monetary policy. And in fact, there is an ECOWAS passport in the same way that there is an East African passport. So in a nutshell, Central Africa is problematic. The Maghreb is problematic. And that is something that we must talk, because in the early days, and you just give me a little latitude on this, Joe. In the early days, in the 1960s, we had clear Pan-Africanists in the Maghreb. King Hassan of Morocco hosted certain meetings in Casablanca, Morocco, Mokhtar al-Dada in Mauritania, Habib Bourguiba in Tunisia, Hamid Ben Bella in Algeria, and Gamal Abdel Nasser in Egypt. But in the recent past, we now have individuals who are undecided as to whether they want to be part of the African continent or they want to be part of the Arab. So the Maghreb is a little problematic, and Morocco, you know, at one time even left the African Union. So in a nutshell, the drive, the hunger is there, and the push is there. So personally, I'm not very worried. I think that what we ought to do is to plant this seed so that the fire keeps burning, because it is through this regional integration that we ultimately will have an African Union. And easier said than done. Perhaps we are too optimistic, but is optimism not the mother's milk of progress?
Prof, thank you.